Hello and welcome to Teagasc Ballyhaise Agriculture College in County Cavan. Our college here offer land-based programmes in agriculture, including dry stock, dairying, mechanisation, pigs and poultry. We also offer programmes in forestry. We are spoiled with the resource that we have here. This is an Ulster plantation estate dating back to the 1600s, so we have beautiful trees, beautiful forestry. And to give you an idea of the scale of it, we have 153 hectares here, and 46 hectares of those are forestry and shrubs. We have over 20 kilometres of hedgerows and over 10 kilometres of waterways. To my left you can hear the River Annlee flowing, and that's a marvellous resource that we can build into our programmes. And sustainability, our environment, our hedgerows, our biodiversity and habitats that we have here are very important, and we're able to bring our students out and show them things like hedgerow management or even establishing hedgerows, and to show them how easy it is to incorporate those skills and to have habitats similar to what we have here on their own farms at home.
My name is Cavan O'Connell. I'm a Forestry Development Officer with Teagasc based in the advisory office here in Ballyhaise. Today we're going to look at the integration of hedgerow management with woodland management. We've approximately 40 hectares of mixed woodlands here in the college, ranging in age from 1 year to 150 years. We manage our woodlands, continuous cover forestry. It means we never clear fell our forests, we continuously have trees growing. So we will look at how we integrate these hedgerows and the woodlands. The idea being is to allow wildlife to move freely through the farm. Here we are in one of the eternal roadways in the college. We have a hedgerow planted on either side, about 5 years old. Here on my left we have a hedgerow, primarily hawthorn, well cut back, and that's to get it to thicken up. We've scattered through the hedge a number of wild cherry, and the aim there is to produce valuable timber. In the background you'll see a stand of alder, which is self-seeded in here, and scattered through it over the last number of years, young oak coming up through it. That has valuable biodiversity, and again our hedgerow here is lending to the connectivity with other woodlands. On this side of the road, hedgerow the very same age as the last, again mainly made up of hawthorn with our wild cherry in there. But also on this one now we have mixtures of gilderrose, spindle, hazel and indeed some holly. We can let this hedgerow go on because it's not impinging on the roadway here, and it's not for stock proof. It can be left grow on. Occasionally we come across trees that we like to preserve, and this is a good example. Here we have a wych elm, which is quite a sizable tree. It hasn't been infected by Dutch elm disease, so we let that tree grow on as long as we can to preserve the biodiversity within it and to retrain these elm that are coming scarcer and scarcer in our countryside. And here's an example of one of our small woodlands. It's a mixture of ash trees in the upper canopy and beech trees in the lower canopy. And our hedgerows connect up with these small woodlands for both landscape purposes but also to benefit biodiversity around the farm. Here now is an example of a hedge that's about 10 years old. Again, we have that mixture of species through it, hawthorn again, cherry, gilderrose, so forth. And this time we can let it grow on, produce fruit and berries, very beneficial to wildlife at this stage. You might notice that I never mentioned anything about blackthorn. I'm not too concerned because blackthorn will come into this hedgerow on its own accord later on. And bear in mind where the hedge is located. Here there has to be a practical aspect to this. We're right beside the crush, so this part of the hedgerow has been cut back to allow light in and from a health and safety point of view. But here in the background we still have our normal hedge for biodiversity purposes. So just take that into consideration when you're managing your hedgerows. Here's a 10-year-old hedgerow as well, and as you notice it's cut back fairly hard, and there's a reason for that because it's right beside the public road here, and we don't want to block the line of sight from a health and safety point of view. But to counteract that, we have field corners over here that aren't impinging on the agricultural land, and we've planted those up to get that biodiversity value. You will also know that it adds to the landscape value of the farmland here, and that can be seen particularly at this time of the year with the autumnal colours in the trees. And remember, not all hedgerows have to be planted from scratch. This is one that was rejuvenated a number of years ago. Blackthorn is the main species within it, and we cut it back down and interplanted the gaps with gilderrose, spindle, a bit of hazel and so forth. And now it's growing on, and all we do is breast it every number of years to let the old growth come into the hedge to produce berries and fruit for wildlife. The landscape behind me is missing out on many of the benefits that trees and hedgerows can bring to the farm. You remember what these are? Shelter, biodiversity, microclimate, carbon sequestration and landscape value. So think of those when you're managing your hedgerows on your farm.